Hey, what's up guys? I hope everyone is doing great, and in this video I want to talk about something so important that nobody talks about. All right, I'm a natural bodybuilder. I've been training for over 13 years naturally, and I want to tell you guys a little bit about the challenges of being a natural bodybuilder. All right, so if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Sharif and I'm happy that you're watching my video. So the first thing that is very much a big challenge when you're training natural for so long is that you gotta keep continuing to train hard. You gotta train harder than the enhanced people. You can't just half-ass it when you're natural, because your only factor for growth is your workout sessions. That's the only things that will determine if you're growing or not. If you're really training, you're pushing to your max, training hard and getting your muscles to failure. All right, if you're not doing so, you will maintain or even you will lose some muscle mass. That's how crazy it is being natural. Trust me, I've been doing it for years and I can see myself when I'm training less hard, even if I'm consistent with my workouts, I will lose strength and muscle mass. It doesn't just stay up there. That's what's crazy. It's so hard to maintain. You really gotta push and you gotta train hard, and you gotta train harder than the enhanced people. That's what's crazy. And most of the people nowadays at the gym are enhanced. So you would think for yourself that, oh, I can just train as much as this guy, and this guy is maybe half-assing it and taking so much rest in between his sets. But that's not the case. You'll feel a little bit different because you'll be the only one pushing to your max, and most people are not training as hard, but they're getting crazy results. And it's hard mentally because you're seeing them, the enhanced people. All right, and it's not that it's bad, but you're seeing those people not training as hard, but they have the craziest results. Well, you gotta know that this is what it takes, and you gotta be willing to be different. All right, and train harder. So that's the first challenge, and trust me, it's a big challenge. When I go work out, most of the sessions I gotta leave completely. Like, I gave it all. I left no stone unturned, because if I don't do so, I'm not gonna progress and I'm not gonna see results. And like I said, I will lose some strength, especially when it comes to strength. All right, you can't bench, let's say, whatever, 300 pounds, and then for a couple of weeks you don't bench 300 pounds. Trust me, you go back to that bench and you'll do 200 pounds and it's gonna humble you. You'll feel like you lost a lot of strength, because you gotta maintain it. You gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep training at your highest. You gotta keep lifting heavy if you want to maintain your strength. And it's so easy to lose it when you're naturally. All right, so that's number one. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he knew that I used to squat pretty heavy, and he told me, oh, you could do 4 plates on a squat easily. And I'm like, no, I can't anymore. It's gonna take so much time for me to get back to where I was. It's not because I did it once that I could do it again. And you'll see the enhanced athletes on the other side. Well, because they're enhanced, they have so much more strength. They can come and rep the 300 pounds like it's nothing, and they can not train for a week or two and come back and do it if they're still on PEDs. All right, so that's challenge number one. You have to train super hard. Challenge number two is that your diet has to be on point. All right, just as for training, the diet has to be as strict. All right, you can't mess up with your diet when you're natural. The enhanced guy, maybe he can go to McDonald's, he can have some pizza, poutine. And when I'm saying enhanced, it doesn't mean just taking steroids. It could be SARMs. It could be, there's so many things right now, but a lot of them, well, when you're, yeah, there's a lot of performance enhancing drugs. So it could be PEDs. A lot of people, when they think steroids enhanced, they just think that I'm referring to needles. But these days it could be anything. It could be in drops, it could be in pills. Some people take pills thinking that it's nothing, but it is performance enhancing drugs. All right, so yeah, let's go back to the subject. So the diet has to be on point. Someone else that is enhanced, that is taking PEDs, can get away with so much more. His body becomes a machine. He's burning everything. His testosterone is so high that it's transforming everything into muscles, and he's not gaining fat. But as a natural, you have no choice but to be super strict on your diet, to really calculate everything. And I don't want to be it shouldn't be so crazy that you're really like calculating every gram of everything you put in your mouth, but you can't mess around, let's say, with the mayonnaise, the sauce, the ketchup, having a lot of mayonnaise. It's crazy, but it's the reality. When you're natural and you really want to get lean, all right, well, you have to be careful on everything, and you have to follow a proper diet. You cannot wing it as the enhanced lifter can. I used to have a friend that was enhanced, that he used to take SARMs. Well, he could eat McDonald's all day long and he had a visible six-pack, shredded six-pack. All right, so there you go. You will feel like, oh well, it sucks because I can't do that, but it's gonna develop your mental strength and it's gonna be worth it on the long term. All right, so you can't mess up your diet, you can't wing it. Your cheat meals has to be calculated, and it's just, you gotta be super strict. You can't mess around. You can't be doing a diet for 2-3 weeks and then eat whatever you want for 2-3 weeks, because you won't see results. And if you're natural, it's so much more harder for you to get super lean to a point where you're seeing a visible six-pack, unless you're tracking everything. Yes, some people are genetically blessed and they will have abs naturally, but maybe they'll be on the skinnier side and they won't be able to build some serious muscle mass. So whether it's for building muscle mass or to get lean, diet, you can't cut corner with your diet. All right, so that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is that you gotta also track your recovery. You can't mess with your sleep. You can't sleep 2-3 hours and then barely eat any meal and then go to the gym and bench your usual PRs and do everything to the max. It doesn't work like that when you're natural. I know people that are enhanced that will come to the gym 2-3 hours after waking up. So basically, let's say we arrive to the gym at 11, that's the hours I would train, and I would see those guys and they're benching 3-4 plates. I'm like, what did you eat this morning? Oh, I didn't eat this morning. I was partying all night yesterday. I barely slept. And they're looking huge. They have a huge crazy pump and they're killing it at the gym. They're lifting heavy crazy weights. Well, it's because they're enhanced. You can't do that as a natural. I'm sorry, but try it for yourself. That's the reality. Sleep for 2-3 hours, go party all night, wake up, don't eat anything, and go to the gym on an empty stomach. You'll be lifting 10 pounds and you'll feel like you're falling apart, all right? It doesn't work like that when you're natural, and it makes it so much harder. You have to track everything. Everything is calculated for me. I wake up at 7, I have my breakfast at a certain time, I have my protein shake. Nothing can move, because if something moves, I feel like really my routine is out of balance and I just feel like I'm not as strong. All right, and that's how it is when you're natural. It's so much harder. You can't mess with your sleep. You can't go party all night and then expect that in the next morning you're gonna be killing it at the gym. Your body just doesn't work like that naturally. So much harder, but it's worth it at the end. All right, those are challenges, but the purpose of the video is just to give you more clarity on the subject, but it's to also motivate you to stay natural, because that's the way to go and it's much worth it in the long term. So sleep, recovery, your schedule has to be on point. You can't just wing it. All right, so challenge number 4, well, it goes back to the previous challenge, but it's basically schedule everything. And it is a challenge. Like all my life, all my days are structured. Even when I was starting to train, it wasn't much structured, and I learned very fast that I have no choice. As a natural athlete, I have to schedule my workouts. For me, training one day in the morning, one day in the evening, one day when I have time, it doesn't work. It might work with someone who is enhanced because he's always strong, he always has that energy thanks to the drugs he's taking. But for you as a natural, your body gets used to a certain schedule. Let's say for me, it's training in the morning, and that's what I personally believe is best. You wake up, you have your breakfast, and you go to the gym. But then some people schedule don't allow them to do so. But scheduling your same the training plan at the same time, having a schedule, a routine that you follow, it's so important when you're natural, because your body gets used to it, and then you have your peak of energy at that certain moment. So let's say it's 10 a.m. that you feel that you're strongest, and you've been training at 10 a.m. all your life, and now tomorrow you go to the gym in the evening, you might not feel as good. And that's another challenge, that everything has to be scheduled. You're basically like in the army, you know, everything is scheduled, your meals and all. Your meals are scheduled. Yeah, that's why I was saying I forgot something. Well, about that scheduling, it's the meals. All right, you can't just skip meals. You can't just eat a big meal and then don't eat for 6-7 hours and then eat a little meal. Well, you have to make sure that all your meals are scheduled as a natural if you really want to surpass yourself. All right, now last challenge, number 5, is that there's going to be ups and downs. All right, when you're natural, your peak of testosterone, it fluctuates. All right, as opposed as when someone is enhanced, they will have their peak of testosterone. Well, their testosterone will be always peaked thanks to the drugs they're taking. They'll feel that they're really always at their best. But when you're natural, well, it will fluctuate. Some weeks you will feel stronger than others, all right? And it will really depend on so many factors: your stress levels, your diet, your stress levels, your sleep. So many things can impact your testosterone levels because you're natural. So your strength also will fluctuate, the way you feel, the way you look, the way you're training. All right, so there's gonna be a lot of ups and downs when you're training naturally, and that is a big challenge because you can't always keep up with surpassing yourself in a way of, let's say, hitting PRs all the time. Let's say every session you want to add 5 pounds to your bench. Well, it's not gonna happen when you're natural because there is ups and downs. Your body needs time to also adjust to the new weight, and some days you will feel weaker than others, and it's hard mentally. Maybe if I did a bench press of 300 pounds last week, I go back this week and I haven't changed anything. Well, it's very possible that I'm just doing 250, but I'm still feeling that I reached my max, and in that way I'll have to achieve muscle failure and get fatigued and really give my all somewhere else instead of adding weight. Maybe I'll do more supersets. It's just an example, but there's gonna be a lot of ups and downs when you are training naturally. All right, and you will feel it also mentally. Sometimes you just don't feel like going to the gym. You don't have that boost of energy, as opposed to someone who is enhanced might always feel like they're on pre-workout. Well, it's not your case. So there is ups and downs, but it's all worth it at the end. So those are 5 challenges that you might experience when you're training naturally. All right, so hopefully you surpass them. It will for sure make you stronger mentally, and it will all be worth it. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon. Ciao. Don't forget to like